Turning on the Wi-Fi like Obama to a white guys. Temper in the center of when the bill with some white lies. But that's politics, gets colder than the wildest thing.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Six with Ian and Thomas. I have one word for this week of football, and it's wow. The past 2 weeks.
That's a good choice of words.
We've delayed our recording because there were Champions League matches that were going on. We wanted to wait. We wanted to cover it. We wanted to catch up and give you guys the latest news in this episode. The quarterfinals of the Champions League were absolutely fantastic sets of football matches. I mean, 8 fantastic matches.
Really good games, yes.
Against with teams that are paired up that are fantastic teams. The matchup I want to start with is Man City Liverpool. I think the majority of people expected Man City to kind of cruise through this one. That is
even after the first leg. You think they were thinking that?
Oh, after the first leg, I think it was still repairable, as we saw with the other games that happened.
Right.
But it was definitely, still kind of out there. And their midweek game against United wasn't beneficial in any way, shape, or form either.
So do you think that the Manchester derby and the way that result ended kind of carried over into the Champions League matchup
with the bad morale
on Tuesday?
Yes,
sure, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, I think so too. I think they got a little bit of their pride crushed, during that match because, listen, the first half was phenomenal. I thought for sure, this is the City's going to clinch it. It's a Manchester derby. How awesome is that? They're going to pull it off. In Manchester. Mm-hmm. And you
Which
and
was
I
their
talked
goal.
about it. Well, sure, that was the goal. And you and I talked about it before. Paul Pogba had other plans, and he even said so. He's like, I couldn't let that happen.
And interesting news I saw about that. Before that game, apparently there were rumors that Paul Pogba's manager has been going around to other teams, and Jose Mourinho even said, if this is true, his price just went up like that. It just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And his price is already pretty high. He's considered an elite player. He's still pretty young, but he's a good player. He knows what he's doing on the ball, and he scored goals.
I think he's significantly underrated. Yeah.
I think so as well. And we've covered that several times throughout the course of these episodes. And Jose Mourinho is absolutely correct. His price at least just doubled with what he just did there.
Yeah.
Give the man a chance and he'll take it further than you ever thought.
I agree. It was
so the first match of the matchups between Liverpool and City, like you said, were kind of devastating to City. It was a 3-0 win for Liverpool, which is a huge boost for Liverpool.
right.
There was one piece that could have been kind of hurtful, and that was Mo Salah kind of came off towards the end.
That was a little frightening.
That was definitely scary to Liverpool fans.
Yes.
But he came back. He was in this match. Just to cover some stats, Mo Salah now has 29 goals in the Premier League.
Wow.
Which is just amazing. He is on a goal scoring tear right now.
Yes. He's in fantastic form, and he's really enjoying what he's doing. So
yeah. And the second match in that matchup, City scored in the second minute. City came in and was like, look, we're gonna try and take this back, and then Mo Salah and Bobby Firmino had other plans.
yeah.
They're like, no, this is not happening.
And I was a little worried with the fact that the City scored as quickly as they did. I was like, oh boy, that's going to set everybody.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, ooh, this is going to be a good matchup.
Yeah,
and
then
it
was
just
a nail biter.
It kind of petered off, when Liverpool scored those 2 goals, and props to Liverpool obviously for being able to finish that off, so decisively. A 5-1 on aggregate in a quarterfinal of you know, what's considered to be the biggest tournament in the world for
Yeah.
soccer, other than the World Cup.
Right, and you think of what Pep Guardiola's got to put on the pitch. I mean, these are all world class players. A lot of the players that he puts in his starting 11 are starters for their respective national squads. So
Yep.
I mean, these are top of the line, elite, world class footballers. So I mean, it wasn't like Liverpool had the easiest task. I mean, even with a 3-0 lead going into the second leg, it was not going to be easy for them. And then to finish up at the Etihad, with City's
Yeah.
home crowd, and the fact that there's a rivalry between Manchester teams and the Liverpool teams. I mean, they're 30 miles apart from each other, and their storied histories have just been head to head, for 125 years or so. So going into that, Liverpool had their work cut out for them. They might have staggered a little bit at the beginning, and I can't even fault really Lars Karius for that first quick goal. That was just, there were some really screwy things going on with the Virgil van Dijk. Thought he was fouled, didn't get rid of the ball, and then he looked up and nothing was on. So instead of just clearing the ball, he tried to force it. It's a mistake you don't see a guy like him making, typically.
Well, and I think what caused that is the fact that it was so early on in the game.
Yeah.
That early on in the game, someone who's been playing soccer almost his entire life, once the game starts, it's kind of, all right, you kind of take it slow, your mind's getting settled into the game, you figure out the pace of the game. At that point, that's when the beginning and the end of the match are when most mistakes are made, but also most deciding points of the game are made.
Nice.
And Virgil van Dijk just kind of happened to make the mistake there.
Yeah.
And his team was, good enough to be able to fix his mistake and then go above and beyond to, again, seal the victory for City or for Liverpool.
I think he's the kind of player who has the skill and the ability and the right mindset to have the proper self-talk, as they say.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he's like, oh crap, I made a mistake, and then he's going to pout about it for the next 90 minutes. He's like, oh crap, I made a mistake, I'm going to do better next time. And then when the next time comes around, he does better.
Yeah.
And so he's that kind of a player.
He's a very mature player.
Exactly. Yeah. And as a Liverpool supporter, I appreciate that about him, and that was one of the things I was really happy when they signed him, because Liverpool had kind of a porous defense, and Virgil van Dijk has sealed up some of those holes. But it just like you said, their resilience for that Liverpool showed, and just the fortitude. They showed some steel. They fought back hard. There were one or two controversial moments. How many times was Leroy Sané offsides? Was he offsides every time? There were a couple of them, at least one that I can think of that I don't think he was.
And there was one I know, because you found some news that you sent me that I'll go over. There was one in particular that I guess kind of ticked off Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
Enough that he went up to the referee and said, that was a goal. Those are the words apparently from the article that I've read.
I think he might have said a little more than that, because he was told
most
to finish
likely.
the rest of the match.
Yeah, he was sent off into the stands, and is going to be fined, I believe.
Yeah.
And alongside with that, actually Liverpool is going to be fined as well, because there were, basically fans storming the pitch, fireworks, stuff like that. Which is just
and the fact that they trashed City's bus.
Also that after the first leg, they attacked the Manchester City bus, which is just kind of, it's a filthy thing to do.
It's poor sportsmanship.
It is.
It's poor humanity.
That's coming from a Liverpool fan right there. He's a diehard Liverpool fan, and he's even saying that's poor sportsmanship.
Well, it's poor humanity. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Listen, this game's important to me. I mean, I play soccer, a couple times a week. I watch a boatload of it on TV. I go see it live when I can. We don't have a professional team in town anymore, but when it's available to me, I go and watch it live. But I'm not gonna go destroy an opposing team's bus for anything.
Exactly.
That trophy, is going to be cool. When I see Liverpool players on the pitch raising that Champions League trophy, for the first time in how many years, that's going to be awesome for me.
Yeah.
And it's going to be phenomenal for them. But it ain't worth me even thinking about going and destroying something from an opposing team. It's not going to do me any good. I get nothing out of it other than a sense of pride that a team that I like to follow won the right matches.
Yeah. As a kind of cheeky little transition here, I saw a meme the other day that Felipe Coutinho left Liverpool for Barcelona because he wanted to win Champions League.
I saw that. Sorry, Phil.
That will not be happening this year, at least.
Nope.
And in fact, at this point, it might have been his best bet to stay at Liverpool for this season, because Liverpool will be moving on, and Barcelona will not.
And that blew my mind.
It absolutely just because I was busy with other things at the time. I wasn't actually watching the match. I wasn't following it. And Ian, you texted me and like, "Are you following this right now?" And I looked at Fatma. I was like, "Oh dear Lord,
Yeah,
what just happened?"
I was actually watching the Liverpool Man City match. That was the one that was actually televised, and the other one I think was on Facebook Live. I wasn't watching that one, but I was watching. The banner comes up across the screen, every so often, and I'm just watching the aggregate just get closer and closer, and I was like, "Oh my, they're gonna pull it off," And
well, after the first leg, it didn't seem possible. I mean, it was a 4-1 lead for Barcelona on aggregate. At that point, a team like Barcelona, who, if I remember correctly, is just lost their first ever La Liga game this season. Wow. I believe they were undefeated in the La Liga up until like last week.
Outstanding.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
And to go that far in, obviously that's a team that you always hear when Champions League is mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
Mentioned. The fantastic players on that team. To be knocked out by, nothing against Roma, to be knocked out by a team like Roma.
They were an underdog.
Not,
statistically, and I mean, even, I don't think there's a pundit alive that said, "Oh, Roma's going to take it."
Exactly. I mean, every single critic in the world, I guarantee, said, "Yeah, Barcelona's going to go through," which was, it was an absolute shock when. When they tied up the aggregate, and because they had the away goal from the first leg, that they go through. That's huge.
Yeah.
I actually saw something today. I sent you during the drawing for who's gonna play Roma. They had Francesco Totti, who is former Roma captain, do the draw for Roma's match, and he pulled up and the paper said FC Barcelona. And he just kind of chuckled.
Yep.
It was almost like he knew. It was like...
Totti knew.
Like, they got that. They got that. That's easy.
Yeah.
And he was right. He's absolutely right. And that match still, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
That
was insane.
It was insanity what happened. Very similar to what happened... with Barcelona against PSG last season. If you remember correctly, Barcelona were down 5-0 from the first leg.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was
insane.
They
came back and won 6-1 on aggregate.
Absolutely nuts.
Is just
that was at the
insane.
At the Camp Nou, and the place almost crumbled. If I'm not mistaken.
Just utter destruction. I mean, and there was so much debate about, was that goal offsides? Was there a foul? Should there have been a free kick? And I remember me and you were actually together in the room watching that game live.
Yep.
And we both just, freaked out. We flipped. Because, that kind of stuff, it excites both of us. That's the kind of soccer that we love just seeing and be like, okay, that just happened. What the hell? Like,
and that was a cool thing with the Premier League this week. All the matches were just so competitive.
Yep.
Well, barring the Merseyside derby, which was absolutely a bore fest.
I can't believe Liverpool didn't just slaughter Everton there.
I'm really kind of trying to figure out how that happened myself.
Maybe they were just like, let's just take a break right now.
Well,
we're beating Man City. They're gonna win the title.
Yeah.
Let's rest our guys for.
Well, and they did.
Champions League.
I mean,
which is what I would do.
They didn't
I would
start their
absolutely do the
typical
same thing.
starting 11, so giving some of the guys some rest. But all
Which
the
is
other
smart.
matches were really, really competitive. I mean, 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 3-2. I mean, good, goal scoring matches. Battles going on, and that's really fun to watch. Nothing like the battle with Juventus and Real Madrid that I just witnessed.
Dear Lord!
And I'm still floored. I'm a Cristiano Ronaldo guy. I like CR7.
Hate him.
Whatever.
I hate him.
I like Leo Messi too, but I mean, just C-Ron's just got a little bit more flair about him somewhere. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I think that's why I like. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate Cristiano Ronaldo. He is a fantastic player.
Yeah.
He absolutely deserves to be, at the top of the list.
Sure.
Of who could possibly be the best player alive right now. He has proved himself time and time again. I guess I like Messi because he's a no BS guy.
That's true. I mean, and he's a joy to watch too. I mean, just the fact that the ball literally, everybody says literally all the time, but I mean literally sticks to his foot and does exactly what he wills it to do. It's a magic trick.
Except against Roma.
Well, it is what it is. I guess that you can't weave the spell every day.
That's true.
But, the gods want their recompense, and I guess that was it.
I think another thing is Leo Messi just kind of tends to have a little bit more fun. C-Ron kind of takes it a little bit too seriously, which respect to the guy. It's his job. You take your job seriously if you're gonna do it. Right. I like to see players have fun. But Juventus, Real Madrid, dear Lord.
I thought for sure it was going to go to extra minutes.
Another insane first leg, 3-0 to Real Madrid. And then all of a sudden, it's, the 86th minute in the second leg, and it's tied up 3-3 on aggregate. Yeah. Juventus is like, we're not backing down from this fight. Yeah. We're going to fight you to the end.
And you can already see it on the faces of the Real fans, at the Bernabeu. I mean, you could see it on their faces. They're like, what are we going to do? This is going to go to extra time. And, do they have golden goal?
No, I believe it's extra time.
So they would have played all 30 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's just I think that's FIFA regulation. And I remember telling you, I think if it goes into PKs, I give Juventus the edge.
Yeah.
You've got Gigi Buffon in goal. He's a fantastic goalkeeper. He has made so many PK saves against top guys like this. I have to give him the edge there.
And I would agree wholeheartedly with that. My money would have been on, Gigi Buffon for sure. Keylor Navas is, he's no slouch either. But
no, absolutely not.
I think the edge for sure would have had to go for, Gigi Buffon for sure.
Unfortunately, the football gods had other plans.
Yeah. Big plot twist.
I believe it was the 89th minute. There was a foul in the box, and at first glance I didn't believe it was a foul. I kind of called, no, that's way too soft. And I went back and looked at it. I was like, okay, yes, that's a foul. He absolutely dove. He sold it, but it was still a foul.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll concede that it was a foul, but he sold it. Yeah, absolutely.
And it kind of is just weird. And then all of a sudden, obviously it's a last minute penalty that could give Real the win.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Juventus players are going to kind of argue that. They want to be like, hey, what are you doing? Like, what are you talking about? That's not a penalty. It happens in every game where that happens, with a penalty like that. And then all of a sudden you see a red card get pulled out for Gigi Buffon.
Yeah.
And
I was really flabbergasted by that. I was like,
yeah,
he just showed red card. Was that? Couldn't have been for the foul. The foul was not a red card foul by any means. But when Michael Oliver pulled out that red card and showed it, I realized it was for Gigi Buffon. I was like, oh my gosh. His last action, and probably his last Champions League effort was to get sent down the tunnel.
That's big news. That's almost sad to hear, because you got a lot of older guys. I mean, Andres Iniesta has already come out and said, "You probably won't see me on a Champions League pitch ever again. I'm probably done. I'm aging out. We've got new guys coming in like Coutinho who can take my spot. I'm probably done." That kind of Buffon getting sent off definitely changed the dynamic, because you've got I can't remember. I've never been able to pronounce his first name. He used to be a goalkeeper for Arsenal. Szczesny.
Yeah.
Never been able to pronounce his first name. Not even gonna try. Sorry.
Okay.
He's I believe he's Polish.
He is Polish. Yeah.
I believe he's still the starting goalkeeper for Poland.
I believe that's true.
I thought he had retired or something. I had no idea he was the backup goalkeeper at Juventus.
I honestly didn't either.
He comes on, for the PK in the 90th plus 4 minute. He came on in the 90th plus 6. And, Cristiano Ronaldo finishes it off. He does what Ronaldo does and ends the game off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it was, listen, and we've already talked about it. Ronaldo, he's not your favorite. He's one of my favorites. But just given the fact that with that penalty, knowing full well what was in the balance with that penalty, and then just given the fact that, it's that late in the match, this might be the only thing we can do right now. This is definitely going to be the end of it. The composure was unreal.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, and you could see the concentration on his face and stuff, when he was getting ready and he's looking at Szczesny, he just kind of, and then, Michael Oliver blows a whistle and, the deep breath in, the slow breath out, and then the run up, and he absolutely buried it. It was it's what Cristiano Ronaldo does. He buries goals.
Exactly. Which is what makes him such a good player. Yeah. He has that composure. He's able to, be in high stress situations like that. Be like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
This is like, I'll take care of it, guys. Don't worry about it.
The look on his face had a little bit more concentration than that.
Yeah.
I don't think he was worried like, oh my God, what if I missed this? I mean, if he missed it, the worst that would have happened is they would have gone extra time. And they could still pull it off. But, he showed, really great composure. So props to him. Props to Juventus. I mean, what an absolute battle.
Absolutely.
The goals for Mandzukic were, both of them were almost identical.
I will say this:
that long, slow lob from distance, out to the far post. He left his defender and put his head on it. Both of them. They were great goals.
Mandzukic actually did win man of the match for this match, because Juventus still did win the game. They just didn't win on aggregate,
right? Which
is it's sad. Again, to hear the fact that Gigi Buffon probably won't be able to do this again. So we'll see. The final match of the quarterfinals for the Champions League was the Sevilla Bayern Munich game. Just kind of, well, the other three were very, like I said, wow.
Really competitive matches. A lot of good football.
This one, this one was, it was still a close match. It was 2-1 on aggregate, but that was the same score of the first leg. The second leg was 0-0. It was kind of just, back and forth football. Nothing happened, which is, kind of sad. This game's not going to reach the news, It's like, oh, okay, cool. 0-0. Good job, guys. See y'all next week for semifinals. It's just kind of, it was bland.
Yeah.
Especially from, Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I was just going to say, with, guys, like Bayern Munich puts on the pitch, Arjen Robben, Frank Ribery, Robert Lewandowski, these guys are pretty flashy players, and you kind of expect to see a little bit of a show from them, I guess kind of like, the Barcelona thing. You can't expect to show, every time, kind of a bummer,
Exactly.
but it is what it is. So, again, Munich's through, on the aggregate, 2-1. So, again, a team, that most people don't think of when you think of, top level Champions League, Sevilla, unless you live in or around the area. That's not the first team that comes to mind when you start talking about Champions League and stuff like that. Pushed Bayern Munich, to only a 2-1 aggregate, and held them 0-0 in the second leg at Bayern Munich.
After they knocked out Manchester United in the last round.
Yes.
So they were still very close to being, a giant killer for the second time. It just didn't happen. So finishing off those matches, so the final four, so for the semifinals of the Champions League, this is probably, in my opinion, one of the weirdest ones in a while. You got teams that you don't hear, at this level of this high of a tournament. Liverpool, who hasn't been here in, I don't even know how many years.
Time. Yeah, it's been a long time. I don't know the number either, but
Roma, who, again, is another team you haven't heard in this high up at the Champions League in a while. Bayern Munich, who is, they're always a team that's up there, but this year I don't think, like we said, they haven't been very flashy. They haven't been there. They haven't proven themselves yet. And then Real Madrid, who is currently trying to defend their title. I'm very excited to see the matchups.
Well, and I think they're in the semifinals for the 8th consecutive season, which is a record, if I'm not mistaken.
And I believe they will be going for their third win in a row for Champions League.
Wow. It's pretty impressive.
I believe that it'll be the first time that a team has ever gotten 3 back-to-back-to-back. Because I remember at the end of last year when they beat Juventus in the final, I believe they were the first to win back-to-back. I think I might be missing one. It might be their 4th in a row.
I don't know.
I have to look this up now.
Yeah, if any of you guys out there watching, if you know the answer to that, put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Because, like I said, I know they're defending their title from last season. And I know there was news from last time that I just can't remember right now.
I don't know.
But, with that, that's really all the news from this week. Like we said, Premier League was kind of fun, but it was extremely overshadowed by the Champions League matches from the past 2 weeks. With that, I'm out of stuff to talk about. If you have any little tidbits that you usually have.
Yeah, I've got a couple of tidbits, and then I've got I try to find always a good, feel good, a little tidbit to end with, and I do have one of those. So I'll just run down some of the stuff I found in the last week, and then I'll finish off with that one. You mentioned earlier about rumors flying about Paul Pogba maybe leaving Manchester United. Apparently, there are some rumors that he wants to meet up with Neymar at PSG. However, there are rumors flying around that Neymar may be leaving PSG to go back to Barca.
I did see that. He did post something on his Instagram.
So
that was
those things, the summer transfer
cryptic.
window. The summer transfer window may yet come out to be a little bit of a tasty thing going on. So there's that.
Very excited for that.
Liverpool supporters may or may not be surprised to hear that Emre Can's season as a Red is over, and that may have been his last time in a Liverpool jersey. They said his season's over. He's not going to make it. There's 6 games left in the season. They said he's not going to be back on the pitch with a persistent back injury. His contract expires in June. And there are some rumors flying around that he may be going to Juventus in the summer transfer window.
Now, question.
Sure.
As a Reds fan, and I know your opinion on Emre Can, how do you feel about this?
As long as they can find the right replacement. He's not my favorite defender, but he's not the worst. They've used him as kind of a midfielder here and there. He's not been as consistent as I would like. He definitely has some ability. He has some skill. But I mean, again, he's not played since March 17th. It's been almost a month since he's played. The last time he played was when Liverpool stomped Watford 5-0. But he's had a little bit of trouble with some injuries. He's still a solid player. He's just not as consistent. So I'm not going to be real heartbroken if he goes. I'm not going to be real butthurt if he stays.
Well, especially because Jurgen Klopp has been very, very efficient at filling some of the gaps that he's had come in very recently. I mean, you lost Philip Coutinho. All right, here's Mo Salah. I think that's a little bit of an improvement based on the way that he's performing.
I agree.
Even
though they're not like for like. I mean, Salah's a striker and Coutinho's a midfielder. But the fact that Felipe Coutinho, they called him the little magician for a reason. I mean, the man created chance after chance after chance. Mohamed Salah just knows how to finish him off. With brilliance, dazzling brilliance, and it's almost disgusting. Just a couple more quick ones, and they're all mostly about transfer stuff. People talking about rumors flying that they might be leaving or whatever. Anthony Martial has declined a contract extension.
I did see
apparently he's not real happy. With Alexis Sanchez coming from Arsenal, it was a direct threat to Anthony Martial.
Although he's been kind of a.
Has it worked out for Alexis? Yes.
Is he still
Should
there?
Should it have? No. Who?
Is he still there? Is he still at Manchester United?
So far.
Is he even playing?
Well, he's running around in a Manchester United jersey. I don't know if he's playing or not.
Fair enough.
But the rumor mills are suggesting possibly him going to Juventus or Tottenham or Atletico. So there's, I guess, in the summer transfer window, pretty good chance Anthony Martial might be leaving the Red Devils. Solomon Rondon, West Brom Albion, has a non-relegation clause in his contract with West Brom practically guaranteed relegation to the championship at this point. Solomon Rondon will be leaving West Brom. Tottenham is apparently interested. As well as West Ham, and there's even some rumors that he might go to Chelsea in the summer. So again, we got to see. We were talking about Real Madrid a lot. We'll talk about it in just a couple more seconds. Gareth Bale's agent is vehemently denying rumors that Gareth Bale wants to leave. That's really all I found about that. There's some rumors that he's just not happy. He started a Champions League match today.
His transfer hasn't exactly been the best for him. When he first got there, he was very successful. He had a very successful first couple seasons, and he's just kind of fallen off after that.
Well, and he's obviously gotten back into favor because he started today with the match against Juventus. But again, all I found is that there's some rumors apparently that he wants to leave. His agents are saying no, we're not even in talks with anybody. And again, we'll talk about Juventus a little bit more. Apparently, they want Alvaro Morata back.
I did see that.
They're looking to build up their strike force, and they want him back. He's got 11 goals in 26 Premier League appearances. apparently the big snag right now is Roman Abramovich says he cost us too much money. We're unlikely to sell him. He's 58 million pounds, about 65 million bones. So
It's a big transfer.
It's a big transfer.
I have a couple more transfer things.
Okay.
This isn't really a transfer. This is kind of a managerial thing. There have been reports that Chelsea have officially made their final call on who will replace Antonio Conte at the end of the season.
So it's official. Antonio Conte is leaving.
This isn't official. These are reports that people have come out. Antonio Conte has been very open about how he's not very happy at Chelsea anymore, which is kind of clear with the fact that they're kind of struggling in their usual ways. They're usually,
I think a lot of the players are not happy with him right now as well.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the fans are not happy with him as well.
Yeah.
As a Chelsea fan, I'm not very happy with him right now. But one of the big names that has been thrown out, he was one of the early names that was thrown out, and we've covered it. But there was a report that 48-year-old, Luis Enrique, former Barcelona manager, could be the possible replacement. And I've said it before, I'd be very happy to see that. Again, former Barca manager, absolutely loved him when he was at Barca. The only reason he left Barca was he said, "This club's too big for me." There's too much going on in the background with the board is always on my neck. I can't do that. I think Chelsea's a little bit more lax with that, and I would be very happy to see what could possibly be happening at the end of the season. I think Antonio Conte will finish out the season, but I think that's it for him. I think he's done with the Blues after this.
Well, they're struggling just to get into Europa right now. They are league champions, defending league champions, and they're struggling just to get into Europa right now.
They
not
tied
how you
West
defend
Ham.
a championship.
They tied West Ham in their Premier League match this week, 1-1, which is just abysmal. A team like West Ham, that should be an easy 3 points for a team like Chelsea. Unfortunately, it was not.
So apparently Chicharito, he scored that goal, and it was a good goal. I saw it; it was a good goal. Apparently, he's unhappy as a player of his stature. He's the all-time leading goal scorer for Mexico. And here he is, kind of languishing in mediocrity at West Ham. And you even mentioned, I think the entire roster wants to leave West Ham. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Andy Carroll's coming back, so that might give them a little bit of a boost.
That's true. I think Chicharito's been he's been in mediocrity the past couple years. Like once he left United, he was kind of just there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He went to Leverkusen and he had kind of a successful season or two there. I don't know. He hasn't been able to find his niche. Yeah. I think once he does, he'll definitely thrive because he's a fantastic player. Yeah. So I think to finish off the episode, you have your little tidbit of good news.
I got my one little kind of cool feel-good thing. Marcus Rashford from Manchester United went on his Twitter and took a picture of the new Nike Air Max 97 CR7s that Cristiano Ronaldo has designed with the brand Nike. He apparently sent Marcus Rashford a pair of them as a gift. And Marcus Rashford took a picture of them, put them on his Twitter. Thanks for the gift. See you, Ron. Appreciate it. Kind of a cool little thing. Listen, Marcus Rashford, he's still a kid. And to receive a gift like that from, someone who used
one
to
of
play,
the best player of all time.
And who used to play at the very club where you're playing now.
Yeah.
To get a gift of, hey, here's some shoes I designed with Nike. You got your own pair from me. That's listen. If that doesn't boost your confidence, you're dead inside. So congratulations on your new shoes, Marcus. Enjoy them. I saw them, and they're cool. It's a cool looking pair of shoes. So probably more than I can afford. But
I don't wear Nike, so.
Yeah, well, they were cool shoes. All mine are Adidas now too. So anyway, little plug for you there, Adolf Dossler. Thank you. So
I think that's all we have for this week.
I think that's all I have for this week. If you've got anything more, now's the time. If not, then we want to thank everybody for tuning in again. The support has been great. We really appreciate you guys watching. Please keep watching. Please share with your friends, your neighbors. I had one of my buddies say, I watched a little bit of it and I don't know who you guys were talking about. Well, keep watching. You'll know who we're talking about after a couple episodes, because we're talking about the same guys. We're talking about English Premier League. We're talking about Champions League. We're talking about World Soccer. So stick around. Don't give up on us just because you don't understand everything. But we want to thank.
Soccer's a hard sport to get into.
Not really. You just start watching it, man. You'll love it.
For a lot of Americans who haven't been into it for a while, they kind of struggle to get into it. But once you get into it, it's a fantastic sport. It's a fantastic community.
You'll thank us. Stick with it. But with that, thank you for watching. Check out the T-shirt shop. Check out the stickered shop. Those links are going to be in the bio there. Thomas makes sure those get in there. Thanks to Thomas for the editing and rendering. He does a really good job with that. I suck at it. So I'm glad he's able to figure that out. So check out those things. We want to thank especially our good friend Macrophonic MC for the fantastic intro and outro music. He's a really great guy. Check out his music. You'll find that link as well. So that's Ian and Thomas with Inside the Six signing off for this week. You guys check us out every week, and we really appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Still holding on to Wi-Fi like Obama to a white guys. Temper in the center up when they're filled with some white lies. But that's politics, gets colder than the wildest state. There's so many multitasking, they multi-taxing in spite of me. But am I convict, fighting it, standing aside and timing it. Go ahead and peak my temper, I'll meditate and then write it. Tiny fit my mode.